Hey guys, this is Frank with Morse Nursery. If you're watching this video, you're probably either thinking of buying some trees from us or you already have. In this video, we're going to go step by step over how to plant our trees, as well as utilize our tree survival kit. There are a few tools needed to complete this project. First, we need to dig a hole. You can do that with a post hole digger or a spade, shovel of any type. The next thing you're going to need is some type of stake to hold your tree survival kit up. We actually do not provide this with the package, but there's a few options you can use. A 1x1 wood treated stake, pine or white oak, does very well. You can also use a 3/4 inch PVC, a T-post, or even rebar. Just make sure you stay away from bamboo, as it does not last as long. There are a few things that will come with your tree survival kit, and we're going to go through those now. You're going to get a 3x3 foot weed mat that comes with sod staples. You're going to get a bird net for the top of your tree tube. We're also going to give you the tree protector, a 5-inch wide, 5-foot tall tree tube with resealable zip ties. And we'll also give you our 2-year fertilizer pack called a NutriPro. And also we'll inoculate the roots with mycorrhiza. So now as we begin planting our tree, the first step is digging the hole. And making sure your hole is deep enough is a major key to success here. So as we dig this hole, we want to take our pot and we want to fit it down in the hole and see where we're at. We want to be level with the collar, as you can see as we are here, and once we've done that, we can move on to our next step. On to step 2 here, we're going to go ahead and get our stake in the ground, and you have a few options of doing so. You can go ahead and put this in the ground after you've dug the hole for the tree, or you have the option, once the tree is actually planted in the hole in the ground, then you can put your stake in the ground. You're looking to be about 3 inches off. You want to make sure you have your stake oriented into the prevailing wind. That way your tube will be more sturdy in a windstorm or any kind of weather. You want to make sure you put your stake deep enough. We're looking about 14 to 16 inches into the ground. One of the different types of pots you might receive from us is this one right here, our sock pot. This is actually a biodegradable mesh that you can plant in the ground, but what we like to do is take our razor blade and make 4 slits equal distance around the side. This will help promote the roots to reach out faster, and then you can go ahead and plant this whole pot, or you can remove the bag as well. At the end of this video, we'll discuss some other pots that you might have received with your order. Our next step here as we move on to planting our tree is we're actually going to put in our NutriPro 2-year fertilizer pack. Again, this is a time release pack that when it rains, it releases fertilizer to the roots directly. But we're going to go ahead and take this and put it in the bottom of the hole that you just dug. And we're going to take a little dirt and we're going to cover that NutriPack up. And once you have that nice and secure packed down, we're then going to move to adding our tree into the hole. Now this tree in particular is a very sought after variety of meter persimmon. What's nice about this meter persimmon is that it's cold hardy up to zone 4A, as well as it has a long drop time. So it drops all the way from August into early November as a persimmon. One more cool thing about this persimmon is it's also a self-pollinator as well. We're going to take this guy, again we made our slits in our bag, we're going to put this over top of the NutriPro, make sure that collar is level with your hole, and then we'll start filling some dirt in. So now that our tree is in the ground, we're going to use the dirt that we actually pulled out of the hole to then put back into the same hole. So we're going to take this dirt and kind of crumble it up with our hands, and we're going to place it all around the pot to make sure we have a nice firm packed soil all the way down. A key thing you want to remember is you don't want to have an opening or an air pocket below your planted tree. If you do so, it can cause the roots to hit that air and die. So make sure you really crumble this dirt up nicely and fill that hole in very well. The next step here is getting our tree protector ready to go. And this is something you can actually do at home the night before you actually plant. You don't want to get out there into some windy conditions trying to keep your tube in one piece. But as you can see here, I've rolled it up really tight in my hands in the tube shape. And then I'm able to loosen it a little bit to find the holes. And we're going to take these resealable zip ties. We're going to go ahead and run them through and pre-form this tube. Just like so. And we'll continue down each hole. There's 4 different spots you're going to put these zip ties on, and then you'll have a pre-formed tube that we can slide down over the tree. All right guys, you can see I got my 4 zip ties on. Now don't be worried if you see some extra holes. There's some different options here where you can move, adjust your zip ties according to how your stake works. All right guys, now that we have all of our zip ties on, we're gonna go ahead and take one side, I like to pick the right side, and form it over the left side of the other side of the tube. Now once we do this, we should have a nice opening with our zip tie that can go over our stake. So I'm gonna go ahead and line this up real quick. And then I'm gonna start sliding this over our stake. So the zip ties are over the stake and the tube is directly over our tree. You might have to hold on to the tree to straighten it up as you're putting it in. Put our next zip tie on. Continue down. Our last one. Now once you have these on, this tube slid over, we're going to again come back to our form and make sure our right side or our left side is over the other side to make that cylinder. And then all we have to do is go ahead and pull our zip tie. And our first one's done. Now something very important with the zip tie, guys, you want to have the backing where this tab is on the flat surface of the stake. That way you can easily push that button and undo that zip tie if you need to do some pruning. We'll continue up to the next one. Make sure there's no hole in your tube. And to our last one. Okay guys, we're on our last zip tie. We're gonna pull this tight. Again, make sure it overlaps. And then our last step on making this tube a tube is we're gonna pull these tabs back. That way it does not cut the tree. Cambium layer as it comes out of the tube. Now it's protected with the rounded edges, and then we'll be able to put our bird net on and you'll be ready to go. And now we're ready to do our weed mat. As you can tell by this planting, we had a former planting here. That's why the ground looks like this. The weed mat does a great job though of the weed control and killing all the weeds in the area, but it also gives you 4 to 6 weeks of drought control on your tree as well. That means less watering for yourself and better control around your tree base. Now we're going to go ahead and take our weed mat. This is a 3 by 3 foot weed mat. And what you'll notice is there's an X in the middle of this mat. We're going to go ahead and open that up. It's perforated with tear, so it'll tear easy for you. And then we're going to take this weed mat, this X we just created, and we are going to slide it over the top of this tube and your stake. I'm going to take it all the way down to the ground. And then we are going to spread it out so it's nice and flat around the base of our tree and our tube. And we're going to take our sod staples. We're going to start on one side and we're going to dog ear. So take this corner and flip it over so that your staple is going through 2 parts of the mat. We'll go ahead and put that in. Then I'll go to the opposite side of the mat. Go ahead and pull this a little tight and do the same technique. That dog ear, fold it, and drive one of your yard staples through. And then we'll do the other 2 sides as well. Pull that nice and tight. Make another dog ear. And the last side. And our last step here is attaching our bird net. This is something you're going to use for the tree when it's 4 foot and under inside the tube still. Once it gets to that 4 foot mark inside the tube, you want to go ahead and remove this. That way the tree doesn't get caught up in it. You can either do this before you fold the tabs on the tube or after, but basically you'll spread the mesh out and you'll just slide it over the top. And there you have it. There's a couple of things we wanted to discuss about site prep when it comes to planting your trees in your tree survival kit. You want to really take care of the ground around the area and almost scalp it to the point. I like to use a weed eater. If you don't have any power equipment, that works just fine. I'll even do a 3 by 3 foot area around this tree before we apply the weed mat. That just makes it easier to work around, but also, you know, you're creating a nice environment for that tree to start off in. Another question we get a lot is, what if I have a bigger tree, like a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old tree, can I still use the tree survival kit? And the answer is yes. Now, the only thing you can't do is pre-form your tubes the night before like we talked about earlier. Instead, you'll have to use these resealable zip ties and form the tube around that older tree. If you ordered from us, these are 2 other options you might receive in your order. This right here is our root trapper bag, as well as one of our plastic pots. These differ from the biodegradable we showed you in the video. Instead of just slicing the sides, you actually need to cut all the way down and remove this entire pot before planting, and same with this one as well. Well, hey guys, thanks for coming and watching the video. If you have any other questions, look in the links below. We'll have some frequently asked questions answered down there. But use this to make sure you're planting your trees correctly and taking advantage of the Tree Survival Kit. If you have any other questions, visit us at www.morsenursery.com or give us a call.